Hi, I'm Craig, and I wish my doppelganger would read me a story.
Hi, I'm Shandi, and do you think it is possible to trick your doppelganger into going to work for you?
Hi, I'm Kylee, and how long do you mean to be content? And this is Seance with My Siblings, Doppelganger Edition. Welcome to Seance. Doppelganger is a German word that essentially means double walker or double goer. Doppelgangers are not just people who resemble you, but are an exact double, right down to the way you walk, act, talk, and dress. A friend or even a close relative who encounters your doppelganger will swear it was you, even though you can prove that you were not in the location the double was sighted. The Germans are not the only ones who have lore around these apparitions. Sightings and reports of doppelgangers have been around for centuries, and a great deal of superstition has developed around them. Traditionally, they have been viewed as sinister or even evil entities. Seeing a doppelganger has been considered an omen of misfortune or bad luck. The very first concepts of doppelgangers date back as far as ancient Egypt, and their concept that the human soul has 7 different parts. The ka, part of the soul, is the life force or spirit, the double of the physical form, and according to ancient Egyptian beliefs, and the hieroglyphic representation of double arms. In Norse mythology, they are not called doppelgangers, but rather vardogor. Vardogor. Why am I
Wait, how does it look?
Vardogor.
Oh.
Vardogor.
Vardogor.
Vardogor,
word
yeah.
is hard for an American brain to make sense of in their mind.
Also, I just have like mush mouth sometimes. Vardogor is a type of phantom premonition that performs a person's actions before they even do it. This type of doppelganger is somewhat like a ghostly version of déjà vu, in which the spirit mimics the human in their walk, talk, and appearance just before they arrive on the scene, confusing witnesses who would have sworn they just saw the person do the exact same thing, whatever that may have been. In Irish folklore, the Fae would sometimes kidnap a person to the fairy realm and replace them with a changeling, an exact copy of the person they've kidnapped.
Slay.
If the idea of an exact replica of you doesn't freak you out, then we've got some stories that might change your mind. So, close your eyes, unless you're driving.
Please don't. Please don't do that.
Don't close your eyes if you're driving.
And imagine with me daylight creeping over a vine-wrapped terrace in Italy. In the distance, you see a person approaching you. As they get closer, to your dismay, you realize it is no friend, nor is it a stranger, but rather it is a perfect reflection of yourself. The figure stops before you and asks you a harrowing question. How long do you mean to be content? The apparition asks you. The words are from a mouth that looks just like yours, from a face that is yours. This is what happened to Percy Shelley, husband of Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein, mother of science fiction, and badass gothic queen.
Yes, queen.
Yes.
Yes.
If I could snap.
Only days before he died in a tragic accident. This was the last...
Ooh, I didn't know this about
Yes!
I didn't know anything about him because, he's not the star of their
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, just...
Their whole... every shenanigan that they ever shenanigans was wild.
I was like, oh, she's married?
Right. So, this was the last of a string of visitations Percy had from his own doppelganger. There are also claims of Percy's friends and loved ones seeing this apparition. Percy Bysshe Shelley, died on the 8th of July, 1822, at the age of 29, when his boat went down in a storm just off the coast of the Gulf of Spezia, Italy. It was a dreadful death, and Percy was young, but it was actually a tragic accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Are doppelgangers harbingers, omens, or do they bring with their sightings bad luck and tragedy? Percy and Mary Shelley moved into a rented house in Lerici, Italy, only 3 months before Percy's death, in April 1822, bringing along with them Mary's stepsister, Claire Claremont, and their friends Edward and Jane Williams. At the time, Lerici was wild and remote, and was right on the sea, with waves crashing right up to the terrace. Percy initially loved the landscape and wrote poetry about it. Mary hated it. She had lost 3 of her 4 children in their infancy, and when she discovered that she was once again expecting, she cursed it as a hateful day. Mary soon became convinced that some terrible horror threatened to overwhelm them. It didn't take long for Mary's premonitions to become a reality. The first tragedy that struck the household was the news of the death of Claire's daughter. At age 5, Allegra Byron had died suddenly of a fever in the Italian convent where her father had placed her. She was only 5 years old, and Claire was inconsolable. Percy began to have violent nightmares and strange waking visions. Within 1 week of their arrival at the Lerici, while Percy was out on the terrace at night with Edward, he suddenly pointed out to the sea, crying out, "There it is again! There!" He claimed he saw a little naked child rising from the water, looking towards him with an unsettling smile and clasping its hands together as if in joy.
They're always smiling.
This little water demon baby.
Literally.
On June 16th, Mary suffered a miscarriage so severe that it would have killed her due to bleeding had she not been forced to sit for 7 hours in a bath of ice to stop the bleeding. Yeah, that sounds like a freaking nightmare. A week later, the household was woken in the dead of night by a blood-curdling scream. Percy was found in Mary's room, babbling wildly that he had seen an apparition of Edward covered in blood and the sea flooding the house.
I just pictured Edward from Twilight. I'm so sorry. I was like, Edward. What's he doing there? Yeah. You said Edward, and I was like,
say it loud.
Sorry.
No, his friend Edward Williams. Covered in blood and the sea flooding the house, the vision changed to the figure of a man standing over his wife with his hands around her neck. A figure that had Percy's own face.
Ugh.
That's fucked up.
The morning after the nightmare, Percy confessed to Mary about having many visions lately and stated that he had been haunted by a doppelganger on multiple occasions. On July 1st, Percy took his boat, the Don Juan, down to the coast to Livorno with Edward Williams aboard. The boat had additional topmasts and sails fitted to make it faster so that Percy Shelley could sail faster than Lord Byron's boat, the Bolivar, when they raced each other in the Bay of Spezia.
Of course they did.
1 week later, on July 8th, Percy and Edward made plans to return to Lerici, taking with him both Edward and an 18-year-old boat boy named Charles Vivian. There had been warnings of bad weather, but despite the fact, Percy insisted on sailing. Several hours later, in the midst of the storm, the additional top masts of the boat were being battered in such high winds. The captain of another boat risked the safety of his own crew to go alongside and offered to take Shelley and his companions on board. But Shelley refused. And when the man called to them they must take in a sail or perish, Shelley seized William's arm to prevent him, crying no. It was 10 days before the bodies were found, and by then, Shelley was unidentifiable. They identified him only by the clothes he wore and the book of Keats' poetry he had in his pocket. His face and hands had been completely eaten away.
Oh, that's so sad.
The bodies were buried in the sand where they were found, near oh wow, I'm having such a hard time with words. Viareggio, to satisfy Italian quarantine regulations. A month later, on August 16th, Shelley's body was dug up again, and one shudders to think like what it must have looked like at that point.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was not good. and burned on a pyre on the beach in the presence of Lord Byron and Shelley's friend Edward Trelawney and Leigh Hunt. A scene immortalized in a famous painting, actually, by Edward Fournier. There's another Edward for you, Craig.
I want to
Perfect.
see that paint.
It seems Shelley's heart refused to burn, and Trelawney fished it from the ashes and gave it to Hunt.
Oh my
Later,
gosh.
and after a rather unseemly struggle, he surrendered it to Mary because she wants her husband's heart, not some random ass dude.
I
Yeah.
was like, this is so cool, though. It's a human heart that didn't burn. I'm going to keep it forever. Fuck his wife.
Right?
And then maybe fuck his wife.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Mary kept it wrapped in silk in her writing case until she died.
Oh,
Shelley-
gross and romantic.
Gross and romantic. Shelley's ashes were buried in the Protestant cemetery in Rome, and the stone bears the inscription, "Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange." So, what do you guys think? Was this a visitation from Percy Shelley's doppelganger, an omen for tragedy that ensued? Did Mary Shelley's initial feelings at Lerici, were they a premonition? Or did Percy have a premonition of the death of himself and a friend when he envisioned a bloody Edward and the ocean flooding the house? Or was it all simply hallucinations and the perils of being alive in 1822?
I mean,
I was gonna
mood.
say, some of this be mental illness, and maybe, I don't know. That's, I feel like potentially he was just fated to die that way, maybe. That was like where his story ends. And so maybe the veil was very thin for him because he was very close to death. And that is just what it be. I don't know.
Maybe.
Premonitions. Definitely.
Craig's
Also.
Maybe some mild schizophrenia.
Yeah. Mental illness and premonitions and doppelganger ghosty boys. All of the above. Every
All
answer.
of the
Can it
above.
be all of it?
It could be all of it. But you guys have to remember, other people at
Saw
the Lerici
the
claim to
doppelganger.
have seen the doppelganger. Like, I can't remember her name now. The friend.
So it wasn't just purely Percy
It wasn't
having
just Percy.
premonitions. So there was an actual doppelganger.
There was an
involved.
actual, and Mary was having like something bad's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
While we're here.
And we know she's witchy as fuck, so
Mhm.
she knew.
She knew.
I think they all knew.
I think they all, yeah.
But it's like, what do you do?
Just say, oh,
Oh
or nor, clear the condensation.
And then you die.
And then you die.
no! And then you die. But it also seems like, so they could have been saved.
Sure. They could have left. But I don't know how feasible that is, money-wise, logistics, all of that.
I mean, like
They
on
could
the
have
boat.
heeded the
Oh.
warning of the storm.
Yeah, there were like
They could
several
have-
things that
They could have made
occurred.
better choices.
They could have made better choices.
Maybe they weren't all that intuitive anyway.
In hindsight.
In
Or
hindsight.
maybe they were like, fate be damned. I'm doing what I want.
Probably.
Probably.
It's like, there's a storm. I'm into fucking around and finding out. That's
Mhm.
cool.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Well, that is the story
Ooh.
of Percy Shelley's doppelganger.
So gross. I love it.
Did y'all know Queen Elizabeth had a doppelganger?
Yes.
I did read about that
I-
in the research.
Yes.
Mhm.
And freaking Abe Lincoln.
And
Yeah.
Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Todd Lincoln saw ghosts all the time. She was very,
In tune.
yeah, had she been in a different, like now, she probably would have been able to become a full-blown medium,
Mm.
right?
Probably.
Be talking to ghosts all the time.
All
Oh,
the
yeah.
days. I have sources.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, good job.
Okay. So we have Percy Bysshe Shelley Neurotic Poets from neuroticpoets.com. Twice in a Lifetime, Would You Dare to Meet Your Doppelganger from theguardian.com. And Full Fathom 5 The Poet Lies, The Death of Percy Bysshe Shelley on wordsmith.org.uk. The end.
Hell yeah. The end.
I loved it. Thank you.
Me too.
That's great.
All right.
Okay.
It's wild to hear these stories.
It is.
All right. I bring to you the curious account of Emélie Sagee, so
Ooh.
eloquently told by Ashley on the amazing website Curious Archives, because Ashley is a much better writer than me.
Oh.
And like, just to be so fucking for real right now, we're double recording, so we had 2 topics this week.
We
And
did.
I farted around and watched way too much about my other topic. And I did read a lot about this. I just didn't write anything. And then I ran out of time.
Or no.
But this woman is an amazing writer. Ashley, you're cool. We should be friends so you
Hi,
can write
Ashley.
shit for me every week. So, this is the curious tale of Emélie Sagee. Born in Dijon, France on the 3rd of January in 1813, Mademoiselle Emélie Sagee was a 32-year-old French teacher who worked at a Latvian boarding school between 1845 and 1846. And the reason she was there for just such a short amount of time is fucking rude.
Oh, shit.
You'll see. We'll see. We'll get
Well,
there.
Okay.
She was described as blonde and blue-eyed with a mild temper and a quiet but anxious disposition. So nothing like us.
I am not quietly anxious.
No, I'm very loud
wildly
about my anxiety.
Craig Woods.
Huh?
Oh, Craig
What?
was like making a face.
Oh, are you okay?
Is everything
No,
good?
I'm good.
Are we all good? Okay.
Yeah.
Did
Okay.
you see a ghost?
No, no ghosts.
Did you see your doppelganger?
No, thank God.
Did you see a penis?
No, not that either. Secret third option. Penis.
It's always the secret third option.
Oh, I saw surprise penises yesterday at the antique store that I was not expecting. Anyway,
That's wild.
yeah. Daphne's like, oh, a penis. And I look up and there was penises, little teeny ones on these like figures, like statues.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, I didn't expect there to be penises. And I was like, oh, same, girl.
Like what?
Anyway. Whew. Back to Emelie. The boarding school, pensionat.
Words are so hard, my friend.
And this word isn't in English. It's not an English word of Newell. I don't know. Had a total of 42 students, all young girls from wealthy, noble families during the time of Sagee's tenure. At first, there was nothing out of the ordinary when it came to the school's new teacher, other than being a bit nervously excitable. I wonder if her womb was wandering.
Her womb was
Her womb was wandering.
Wandering all over.
Freaking everywhere.
freaking everywhere.
Oh, she was considered good at her profession, was up to the highest standards of the school, and liked enough by her students.
Damn.
Enough.
Enough.
However, shortly after Sagee's arrival at Newell, peculiar rumors began to spread. Some students would claim to see her on one side of the school, while others would say they had just seen her on the other.
Ooh.
She'd be in 2 places at once. Tricky bitch.
It's giving Hermione with the time turner.
Yes.
Reports of Sagee's location at any given time were conflicted. Almost as if she were appearing in 2 places at once. Sagee's colleagues told the students that they were letting their imaginations run away with them and to focus on their studies instead of filling their heads with nonsense.
Yes.
So their imaginations, not their wombs.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't have imaginations. It was their wombs, clouding their minds and judgment.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
but young girls are just nonsensical, silly anyway.
They're just
They're
silly
just
They're just-
given to flights of fancy, you know?
Like in Nosferatu. And, like how they would talk to her. I was like, oh, wow.
tighten her corset. Her wombs
Make her sleep in her corset!
Ugh.
We've got to bleed her. She's got too much blood.
How her womb is producing too many bloods.
How are her menstrual cycles? Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
We're so bad at being serious.
So bad.
So bad. Going back to secret surprise penises.
Yes.
On the internet, people are losing their minds
Over
over
the
Count
penis?
Orlok's penis.
It's very unremarkable.
Yeah.
I've seen better. I have better at home. Hi,
They're like,
Peter.
I was jump scared at 2 p.m. in the movie theater. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, the first time I ever saw a penis on a movie, like in a regular theater, I was jump scared. It was Kevin Bacon's penis in the movie Wild Things, because usually this was in the 90s and they didn't show penis or vagina. They showed plenty of tits, plenty of butts. No penises.
No penises.
No penises, unless you were watching actual pornography, right?
Right.
So we're sitting in the theater, minding our own business. Kevin Bacon's in the shower, and all of a sudden he whips around, and I saw his penis. It's like, oh, there's a penis. A whole penis. The whole ass penis.
Ow, jump scare.
Oh, shit. Sorry, my computer's just making noises.
They were also
It's still making noises.
Something is talking. One
Where
of your
is it?
tabs is talking.
I know.
They were also jump scared by his mustache. People hate it for some reason.
Door lock.
Anywho, I'm so sorry.
Dumpy, that was a
That
wonderful
was
trip
fun.
into the weeds. Anytime we can talk about genitals.
Yeah.
Like eyeball length weeds.
The dark, deep, dank weeds.
Yep.
Anyway. Okay, here we go.
Back at it.
Back at it again. Eventually, the rumors surrounding Mademoiselle Sagee became too much to ignore. A number of instances occurred that drew attention to the new teacher's strange condition.
Ooh, condition.
Condition.
It's her womb! Including the following. In front of a classroom of 13 students, Sagee's exact double appeared beside her while she was writing lesson notes on the chalkboard. The double mirrored her movements exactly, but did so without chalk in its hand. Each student, because it couldn't hold chalk, because it was an apparition.
Yeah, duh.
Each of the students in the class agreed that they had witnessed the same phenomenon. So this is like what you were talking about, Kai. Are they just ghostly
Like-
apparition?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It seems like there's different flavors of doppelgangers.
Yes.
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 So it's not just one certain entity, but many different things.
Many.
Mhm.
Maybe in the mimic family.
Or jumping through time. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be so many things.
So many
It could be
things.
so many
Glitches in the
things.
Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Demons.
Demons.
Always
It's always
demons.
demons. It's
There's probably a portal to hell.
Okay. And then Sagee was helping a student fasten the back of her dress while standing in front of a mirror. The student looked into the mirror and suddenly realized that there were two Sagees reflected back at her, both making the same motions of fastening her dress. The student was so shocked she fainted.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I hope she landed on a fainting couch.
With her arm.
Yes. I hope they brought the smelling salts post-haste. Anyway, occasionally, Sagee's double would stand behind her chair while the school had their dinner and mime Sagee's exact motions of eating. Other times, Sagee would stand from her chair and her double would remain seated.
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When Sagee was sick with influenza, a student was reading to her from her bedside to help keep her spirits up. The student recalled her teacher suddenly became stiff, pale, and dazed. Worried, the student inquired if she were feeling worse, but Sagee declined. However, when the student looked to the side, she realized the other Sagee was pacing up and down the room they were in. The real Sagee did not seem to notice.
Maybe
Yeah,
she's
she
like
never saw
astrally
projecting.
projecting.
So that's the weirdest part of this, is everybody else saw her doppelganger, but her. And maybe that's why she didn't die.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because it's like when you see your doppelganger, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I'm about to meet the Grim Reaper. Or one of the Grim Reapers.
Is that the Grim Reaper?
What?
It's a meme. I'll have to find it.
Okay. The most notable incident occurred in front of all 42 students at New Welk.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. On this day, the students were in one room together, sitting at a long table to practice their embroidery.
Ooh.
I hope their wombs didn't get in the way. Large glass doors. They were able to see Sagee outdoors in the garden picking flowers. The teacher who was leading the lesson would occasionally get up and exit the room, leaving her seat at the front of the class vacant. However, shortly after the other teacher would leave, Sagee would appear in the chair.
What the
Oof.
hell is going on?
But the class all clearly observed her out in the garden picking flowers still. But I've heard this, okay. I've heard this a different way. I've heard it that Emelie was actually in the classroom doing dumb shit and said she would have rather been outside gardening.
Mm.
And so
Okay.
they saw her doppelganger out gardening.
So maybe she was astrally projecting. She's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be here.
But
I'm gonna go.
in this account, the doppelganger was in the classroom and the real Emelie was out picking flowers.
Hmm.
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 Curiouser and curiouser. The only difference was that Sagee out in the garden was moving much slower, as if she was very tired.
Hmm.
Because she could just, be a good projector.
Maybe.
Two of the girls were brave enough to approach the other Sagee at the head of the table. They touched the figure, sorry. I was like, the finger.
They touched the
The figure.
They touched the figure and described it feeling like a fabric of fine muslin. One of the girls allegedly passed partially through the other Sagee. The figure eventually disappeared, and the real Sagee in the garden seemed to snap out of her daze and continued picking flowers.
Huh.
Yeah. When the
Hmm.
students questioned Sagee about the incident afterwards, she told them that she had noticed the chair vacant and thought to herself that she wished their embroidery teacher hadn't left because she was sure the girls would get up to trouble unsupervised.
Dude, this
Freaking Karen, Emelie.
Literally.
Emelie, come on.
this girl is literally like, so you're saying like she wishes these things, but then her doppelganger
Goes and
does those things. That's
Uh-huh.
bananas.
Yeah. However, Sagee did not recall anything else about the incident other than her own experience in the garden. The peculiar apparitions appeared frequently and at random for the short time Sagee taught at Nuelk. Her double would appear more often indoors, but would occasionally appear during walks outdoors as well. The other Sagee was never far from her and never appeared somewhere without the real Sagee nearby. The fact that she was not aware of anything peculiar was happening, nor did she ever actually see her other self, made the situation even more bizarre.
That is how bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
It wasn't long before parents caught wind of the unexplained situation at Nuelk. Some of the students found the apparitions upsetting, and their parents began to worry about leaving them in the care of the school, and especially in the care of Sagee. A number of students failed to return to the school after the holidays, but the directors were determined to keep Sagee employed as they felt she was a wonderful teacher and didn't deserve to be fired over something out of her control. However, the attendance of the school eventually fell from 42 to 12 after 18 months of Sagee's employment, so the directors had no choice but to let her go. When this occurred, she was incredibly upset and disclosed that this was her 19th time being dismissed from a teaching position.
Damn.
Oh.
I know. She had previously been employed at 18 different schools that had praised her teaching abilities, but parted ways for undisclosed reasons. Could it be that she's astral projecting all the time, scaring the shit out of the kids?
Girl needs to leash her womb.
I know. Wear your corset tighter, girl.
So your spirit can't wander.
Yeah.
Sagee left Nuelk and moved in with her sister-in-law and her young children. Her double followed her and continued to appear at random, as witnessed by her nieces and nephews, who would exclaim that there were two Aunt Emelies.
Mhm.
Excuse me. She then moved to Russia and was never heard of again. The end.
thought.
Wow.
What? She was never heard from again. Bonkers.
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 Mhm.
She's living in a cabin as a witch now.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Living her best Russian witch life.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she dead now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is she?
Maybe not her doppelganger.
Her doppelganger is still seen wandering the Russian hillsides.
Oh my god.
Yes.
And again, my source for this was Curious Archives, an esoteric guide to our strange world by an author that goes by Ashley. That's it, just Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Mm-hmm. She great. Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley. All right, y'alls.
Right.
I have a story about the French writer Guy de Maupassant. Passant? Yeah, that sounds right.
We're just
Especially in
struggling
like
with the word.
French words. Like, ooh, so sorry. So sorry.
Many apologies.
So many. All right, so the French writer Guy de Maupassant is known for what is perhaps the most intimate doppelganger experience on record.
Ooh.
Bum, bum, bum. Intimate, but
Surprise penises.
unfortunately, no surprise penises
Oh.
were
Okay.
recorded anyway.
No surprise penises were recorded in this tale.
None
Yes.
on record.
None on record. Towards the end of his life, he is said to have regularly interacted with his doppelganger, which we all know by now that's no
That's
bueno.
not good.
That's no bueno.
It's not good.
This eerie twin not only talked to him, but actually sat down and started dictating a short story to him. Yes, de Maupassant claimed that one of his last stories was literally ghost-written by his own ghost, no less.
I love it.
Wild.
Yes, as his ghost should. Doing some work. If that's not chilling enough, don't worry, it gets even better. The story the spirit allegedly dictated to be Maupassant was the Harla, an unnerving tale of a man whose sanity is slowly consumed by an evil spirit that uses him as a host as it echoes the story. De Maupassant's mental health started deteriorating soon after finishing it. So, there's that part from it.
I mean, that checks out.
Yeah.
That fits the doppelganger narrative, right?
Oh, yeah.
It does.
In another version of the events, the doppelganger did not dictate the book as it disappeared when the terrified de Maupassant called his servants. However, the apparition returned a few months later. It entered the writer's room looking at him with a sad expression. Then it sat down and buried its face in its hands as if in despair. Convinced that the doppelganger brought news of disaster, the horrified de Maupassant's life was downhill from there. He died in an insane asylum a year later. Yeah.
That's rough.
It's
That's
rough.
rough.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
And asylums were
Yeah.
Not
great. Even
great.
though a lot of them were started with like the best of intentions.
Literally. We've done an asylum
Yeah.
episode. Go listen to that episode.
We did like a hospital
Yeah,
episode,
Yeah.
but like
hospitals. And
two of them were asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
two of them were mental health
Yes.
hospitals.
Yes. Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah.
What
So
was
the-
this guy's name again?
His name is
Yes.
Guy de Maupassant.
Okay.
Mhm. He's an author or a
Anyone
writer.
ever read his work?
I have not.
Uh-uh.
After that, the Harla, the Horla, the Horla, Horla,
The harlots.
the harlot. Sorry.
God. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be.
I can't wrangle my womb today.
I know, girl.
It's wandering.
And my womb can't decide if it wants to be on its period or not. It's
Oh,
just
no.
like every day is a different choice.
Shit.
Anyway.
Anyways, I have Uno Mas story from Wattpad by Stardust_Penguin. Hell yeah.
Is this like a personal encounter?
Mhm.
Oh, I'm so excited.
One morning, I was asleep in my bedroom when my brother yelled at me from downstairs and asked what I was doing. I got out of bed and went downstairs to see what he wanted. The moment he saw me coming down the stairs, his face went pale and there was a look of shock and fear in his eyes. What's wrong? I asked. Just then, I heard the bathroom door at the end of the hallway slam shut. It was strange because we were the only two in the house. My brother said he had just seen me walk by him less than a minute ago, and as I passed by, I had given him a creepy smile.
Ooh.
Their doppelganger's a dick.
I
Love it.
I hate it when they smile. Like, when things smile creepily, like,
It's unnerving.
it's unnerving. Yep. That was why he yelled at me and asked what I was doing. He said I didn't pay any attention to him and just kept walking down the hallway. When he turned around and saw me coming down the stairs and he got the shock of his life.
And that is a common theme when people see other people's doppelganger and they're like, hey, like trying to
And they-
interact with it. And they just like,
keep doing what they were doing.
Ooh.
They ran down the hallway and checked the bathroom, but it was empty. No doppelganger.
Mm. I feel like that's common too. Like they just like
Disappear out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
which is like, okay, so what flavor of doppelganger is that?
The
It's like a
smiling
mimic.
doppelgangers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the creepy mimics.
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't like them.
No,
Mm.
my mom had one.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned it briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky boys. After I watched Us,
Oh, that show was wild.
I had like
So good.
not an existential crisis, but I was like, oh my god, what if?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
Oh, that was a good movie.
That was a good movie. I
It's
need to
wild,
watch
and-
that again.
Mhm.
That's probably one of the best doppelganger movies.
Totally. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's wild.
Ooh. I hate the little boy that just like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
that actor did good.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
all very creepy.
They were, yes.
The dad was probably the least creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's all that I've have.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.
Doppelgangers.
Doppelgangers. You
Still.
got him.
Got him.
Hopefully not, though.
Just try never to see it.
Don't
Yeah.
see it, yeah.
And if you do,
No, you didn't.
No, yeah.
la, la, la. I can't see you.
Literally.
What would you guys do if you saw your doppelganger?
I'd be like,
You
oh,
freaked
fuck.
out. Yep.
This is it.
God
Well,
damn it.
I guess this is where it ends. Now I get to haunt Disneyland.
This
Yep.
And
is
you
the
guys.
story of how I died.
I saw my doppelganger on a Monday,
God fucking damn it.
and then I was dead by Friday.
Yeah.
Scary,
And
scary.
now I'm doing this podcast as a ghost.
From the grave.
The great beyond.
Or my
Or-
living room.
Yeah.
Well,
Hell
guys,
yeah.
Well,
we have socials.
we
We
do
sure
have
do.
some socials.
Seance.
Silence. We just like stare at each other.
Sorry, I all of a sudden just like lost all of my energy and just couldn't talk.
We all just go like cross-eyed.
A drool starts dripping from her mouth. Oh my
Sounds
god.
right.
Yeah.
Seance with my siblings on everything.
On literally everything.
You can email
YouTube,
us
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you can email us.
at seance with, sorry. Seance with my siblings at gmail.com. Send us your doppelganger stories
Yes.
that you hopefully didn't see and someone else saw for you.
Or have you survived your doppelganger?
Ooh.
Or do you just have other creepy things you want us to talk about
Yes.
on the podcast?
Yes.
Please.
Please
For the love of God. Give us your stories.
give us all your stories.
Stop being a lurker like I'm a lurker. I'm always lurking.
I'm
They're
always
like,
lurking.
Comment, subscribe, and I'm like, I'll like.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying anything. I'm not commenting.
Please. Like literally.
It can be anonymously sent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Anyway, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank
You've
you for
made it this
listening.
far through our shit. Did anyone else see that?
Oh, fuck, what?
The black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
What was it?
It frequents here. It's just like a black orb or something.
Is it the
I
one
don't
thing
know.
we saw?
I think it's the
Mm.
same.
Oh,
Mhm.
it likes me.
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
Oof.
All right.
Bye. Wave at the microphone. Everything's fine.